Are you like millions of people, filled with self-doubt, wondering what your next step should be? This is the Unleashed podcast. You're about to learn how to unlock your potential and live your best life. You'll get practical and actionable advice, guidance, motivation from business to relationships to anything going on in life. This is the Unleashed podcast. Now your hosts, Crystal Bean.
Welcome back to the Unleashed podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I want to say welcome to everyone. And if you're back for episode 2, I really appreciate you being here. This podcast is about growth, confidence, identity, and becoming the best version of yourself without filters, without perfection, and without pretending. Today, episode 2 of the Confidence Unleashed series, and this episode is about identity because confidence doesn't come from titles, achievements, or approval. You don't need anybody else's approval. And it's not about, oh, I did this, I did that, oh, I'm this, I'm that, director, or this or that, or your accolades, right? It comes from knowing who you are and really whose you are. I like to say whose you are. It's a difference between whose you are and who you are, right? And I know I joke around a lot about that, but it is really true. And a lot of people lose that along the way. So today is the day that we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how identity gets lost and why that impacts your confidence, the way you speak, act, how you perform, things that you want to do in life, and what you become, right? And how to reconnect yourself in a real practical way. Most people don't wake up one day and decide to lose themselves, right? We don't wake up and say, okay, I'm done with myself today. It gradually happens. And before you blink an eye, it's done. Life starts stacking responsibilities, work expectations from people that you don't want to talk to at work, you don't want to deal with at work, to relationships, right? Relationships, whether it's, with your family members, your loved ones, whatever you got going on. The family roles. Most of people wear family hats, like a mom hat, dad, baseball cap, practice. All these things are happening, right? There's social pressure to look a certain way, right? To wear your hair a certain way, to act a certain way, to join certain clubs or certain social clubs to be a part of a certain elite community, right? And then guess what? Inside there's survivor mode. Over time, identity becomes defined by what you do instead of who you are. And that's what I was saying to you about like all these things I do, right? I do them, but that's not really who I am. And so we have to get to the core of all that stuff, right? It just, again, shows up in our life, right? And what happens is that confidence takes a big hit. Because when your sense of self is built on performance, approval, or an obligation, it becomes fragile. One change, a shift in a job, a breakup, a burnout, suddenly you're questioning everything. Oh, you didn't get the job you thought you was going to get, questioning everything. Oh, you broke up with this person and now you're falling apart. Oh, it's going to take you a little bit longer in school to achieve all your goals and dreams and I just can't do this. You fall apart. But it's not weakness. It's a sign that your identity has been living on in a surface inside of that core. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, let's go back for a second. Like you said, confidence is all the things that I'm doing. No. You're Sunday school teacher. You're the baseball captain. This, that, all these things. I'm a director, process owner at the job, lawyer, whatever you got going on. Those are things that you do. They may be achievements and all that good stuff, but that's not who you really are. So let's be very clear on that before we move forward with anything. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Confidence doesn't come from success alone. And that's what I want you to understand. You can be a successful person, but you may lack the confidence. You can become accomplished and still feel unsure. You can be admired by others and still feel disconnected. You can be busy and still feel empty. Confidence comes from clarity about whose you are and who you are, right? And so let's go back. I like to go back a little bit. I don't want to move too fast because a lot of times, we got this big house, great, but we still feel insecure. We want to one up one another. Or then you got a neighborhood of individuals, it's 3 or 4 people, and then when you get a fence, they get a fence. When you get a car, they get a car, right? They are accomplished, but they don't have confidence in themselves. Where like it's like they do it because someone else did it. Or you may have people that admire you, right? Because they think that you got it going on, but you still feel disconnected. You still feel lost. You still feel unbalanced and uneasy in life. That's the stuff that's on the inside, but the outside looks great. What you look like looks great, but the inside is falling apart. It's falling apart. Oh my gosh, you must got a great life. You're so busy. You got all these things going on. But as soon as those things stop, you're uneasy. Again, confidence comes with clarity, or really confidence comes from clarity. When you know what matters to you, and I'm talking about your values, your boundaries, your direction, your confidence becomes steady. When you don't, confidence feels inconsistent. That's why people often say, I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't feel good anymore. It's not that confidence disappeared, it's that the identity got buried and burdened underneath everything else, all the things that you're doing, all the shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? Think of identity like layers. And I always talk about peeling, like the onion, peeling these layers back of all the things you got in life, right? At the core is who you actually are, your interests, your values, your strengths, your natural tendencies, right? The things that come in your mouth, the things that you naturally do when you don't have to think about it, right? Those are the natural tendencies that you have and you carry because that's the core of who you are, right? Then life adds more layers, more expectations of you as far as how you act, how you treat, how you walk, how you look, the pressure, like what you're supposed to be in life because there was all doctors in my family, so now I'm a doctor, or it could be that everybody's doing great, but I'm not, right? The pressure from the society, your family, your loved ones, and past hurts, past experiences kind of shape that too. All the responsibilities that you feel you have to carry, and it turns out you didn't have to carry all these responsibilities. And then it's the coping mechanism. Are you actually coping the way you need to cope? Habits that once helped, but now they no longer serve you. So we have to be careful with things that no longer serve you because not everything's going to serve you. What you used to do or how you used to do in order to get your mind right or meditative state or whatever you want to call it, sometimes you mature out of it, right? And they don't work anymore. So the things that used to work in 2022, things that used to work, years ago may not serve you now because your palette of things that you have to do may be full. And so it's going to take a little bit more effort out of you, right? But none of these layers are a bad thing. It's okay to be multifaceted, complex, and have different layers. Many of these things are necessary at times. And I understand that when you have a family, there's so many expectations at work and you have deadlines and pressure and family and past experiences, it's necessary to shape you to who you are, right? And so, but confidence starts to drop when those layers become permanent, when you stop checking in with what still fits. You always got to check in with what fits because, again, things might not fit any longer. The people who you used to connect with, communicate, you may outgrow them, right? Because their expectations might not be your expectations. And your past experiences, when you mature from whatever it is, whether good or bad, right, you elevate to the next level, right? That's just a small example. So reclaiming identity isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing what no longer belongs. It's about removing what no longer serves you because, again, everything is not going to serve you. So guys, I want to be practical in the things that we talked about because, again, we don't go from night and day. The next day you don't just wake up and like you're a new person, right? Here are 3 ways I want you to start reconnecting your identity. And so number 1, I want you to really pay close attention to identifying your core values. You got to have some core values. Let's just start with that. So pay attention to what consistently matters to you, right? What are the things that make you frustrated? What are the things that motivate you? What do you protect at all cost? Those reactions point to your values, okay? Because sometimes we don't know and we have to figure that out. So let's explore that a little bit. So let's just be real here. Being somebody tick for tack. I don't like somebody that's tick for tack, right? I don't want to be tick for tack to you. Let's just own it and move forward, right? So be intentional about the things that frustrate you. Right? What motivates you? If it was money, you'd be rich. So what is it? Money doesn't motivate me. My passion motivates me. So I know that I have to be a passionate person. Whatever I do I have to be into it. I have to be, my belief system of whatever it is has to be strong enough for me to be motivated to do it. What am I going to protect at all costs? It's going to be my family, my kids, my heart. I have to be true to me. So think about the things, and I want you to write. If you are in the car, obviously don't write, but if you're at your desk or whatever, maybe get a sticky note and say, these 3 things, these are my top 3 things that's going to frustrate me. Maybe forgiveness is one of my core values because I want to know people, if something happens, I forgive, keep going. Doesn't mean I don't forget. Forgiveness is for me, it's not for you. I'm just going to move forward. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put all the stuff in my head and just harness all the stuff. That's not good for me. That's not good for you. And that's not good for what I need for me for right now in my life. And so for me, maybe forgiveness is my core value. And that's also a strength. I don't know. So, one answer is not going to be like fit all. So again, what motivates you? What frustrates you? What just makes you mad to the core? And what do you feel like you'll protect at all costs? So that's the thing that's going to point you to your values. When your daily life aligns with your values, confidence feels natural. When it doesn't, confidence is forced. So that's what I want you to understand. Like when you have certain people that's on your caliber, you're not going to have arguments, confrontations, and things like that because the way you communicate is effective because you both understand one another. You understand one another because you may be on the same class level. You understand one another because their values and your values align. So there's alignment and neutralities, right? Things like that. I want you guys to start noticing. So number 2, I want you guys to start noticing what brings your energy. Energy is very important because this is what activates and makes you feel engaged inside and you're not drained. What topics do you feel naturally gravitated towards? Right? Think in your mind things that make you happy. What are those topics? Is it politics? Is it religion? Is it, I don't know, weight loss? Is it like, cooking? What is it? Is it talking about cigars? What is it? What do you enjoy even when no one is watching? Is it music? So if I was a fly on the wall, what are you doing that you enjoy and nobody knows? Or what do you do that you enjoy and you can just do it for hours? And it's not random. That's your identity speaking. I think a lot of times we don't speak to our identity because we're so caught up in this rat race of life. And I'm not talking about just being in corporate America, right? I'm talking about a rat race, period. We become involved in a rat race when we forget who we are. Our confidence is low and we are not in alignment with our identity anymore. Okay? I want you to acknowledge your strengths and acknowledge things that's going to bring you joy because it's not random. So I really want you to start searching for those things because they really are speaking to you. And I don't want you to be guilty. I don't want you to feel guilty. I don't want you to feel like I can't have it because I have so much responsibility. That's not true. Okay, even if you start for 15 minutes a day to find your passion, to find your truth, to find that love, that's fine. It's okay. Give yourself permission. So I want you to acknowledge your strengths. And that's number 3. Most people underestimate their strengths. What do others constantly rely on you for? Because I'm going to tell you something. People always rely on you. So what is it? What feels intuitive to you? What can you do that's naturally, effortlessly, you're not thinking about it? Or what challenges do you navigate well? People are like, man, I could never figure that out if it wasn't for you. You know what I mean? Things like that. Confidence grows. And again, these are skills that set you apart and help you develop who you really are, right? And confidence grows when you recognize and trust these strengths. So it's about shifting in the mindset that it's okay to trust the strengths that I have. So one last important reminder, you are allowed to evolve. And I think that everybody needs to understand that you are truly allowed to give yourself permission to evolve. You are allowed to change your priorities. You are allowed to outgrow past versions of yourself. You are allowed to redefine who you are and whose you are without expectations, without explaining it to other people or yourself. You don't owe yourself an explanation. Confidence will increase when you stop trying to stay consistent for others and start being your honest, whole self. Because you also deserve to be the best version of yourself. Today, I want to challenge you. Something very important. I want you to write down 5 words that describe whose you are. Not your roles, not your job, not your responsibilities. I want you guys to keep this list somewhere that's visible. So that could be your anchor. That's something that you can build from. So I think that's really important. And so as we leave this session and this episode, I want you to think about the things that we said. I'm sure that you guys can do this challenge today. If you don't do it today, please try to do it in 24 hours because you're going to be like, girl, you make sense. Identity isn't lost. It's just layered. That's it. And confidence doesn't come from you adding more in your life. It comes from reconnecting with yourself, things that already exists within you. And if this episode resonated, share it with someone who's feeling disconnected in their life, disappointed in their life, and unsure right now, that's stuck. We can help other people, we can help ourselves, but we also must help the people around us because if we want to elevate to the next level, it's about a shared joint effort. And I just want to say, guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. This is a space we can talk, we can laugh, we can cry, we can talk trash, all that stuff. I want us to grow together, love on one another, and just do the best that we can do in the world. Talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Unleashed podcast. It's time to drop the fears, drop the self-doubt, and get to it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Unleashed podcast.